Welcome back, everybody. I'm Wendy Bell. Glad you're joining us. You know, when the news flash came across my phone, and I don't want to look into things, but when I see a governor of this Commonwealth who has refused to sit down with the legislature and talk to them about all of his bizarro COVID restrictions and mandates, has not communicated again and again and again and again and again, and he bypasses Commonwealth Court to go straight to Pennsylvania's highest court, where he's probably assured a victory because it's Democrat majority. I feel kind of weird inside. I feel like we've gotten hosed yet again in this Commonwealth. It could be perfectly legal. It could be perfectly commonplace that somebody would want to speed along a process. It just smells bad. I don't like it. And I'm pretty sure my friend Pennsylvania State Senator Doug Mastriano feels the same way. Doug, welcome back.
Thank you, Wendy. And what a roller coaster we're on. Oh, my goodness. Come on now. Get me off this ride.
I can't. I literally, joining us live on the Disc Institute of Pittsburgh Newsline is a true Pennsylvania patriot who has fought just for basic common sense stuff for this Commonwealth. And I don't understand. Walk me through how you're understanding all of this, because you get a lot of the background jazz that's off limits to us.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously on the 8th of June we had a historic vote, even though the Republicans really didn't celebrate it. They were asked people to implement that on ending this whole madness. And then, of course, the governor refused to do his due diligence constitutionally by signing an order ending this whole madness. And then on the 10th, we filed a lawsuit, we being the Senate, on behalf of our President Pro Tem Scarnati. And just days after that, the governor said he didn't want to do this, didn't want to be part of the Commonwealth Court, which he would go to, and he appealed to the Supreme Court to take it, the Supreme Court of Pennsylvania. And today they announced they're going to exercise a law going back to 1722. It's called the King's Court, or the King's Bench Authority. So it's an extraordinary jurisdiction that they have since our colonial time, based off of English common law, granting them supervision of all courts.
Wait, what?
Yep. So it's this ancient colonial empowerment of our Pennsylvania Supreme Court, and obviously the deck was stacked against the governor for the Commonwealth Court, where it was going to be heard. The governor wanted to stay. He didn't want to answer the questions that he was told he had to answer tomorrow. And so the Commonwealth Court said, no, you have to comply. We'll start proceedings shortly. And the Supreme Court weighed in to take care of this. There might be a silver lining in this whole thing here. Obviously, I believe the Commonwealth Court would have rolled against it and stuck with the Constitution. It's 50-50 in how they're going to rule on the Supreme Court. It's probably leaning his way slightly. But in the end, if there's any silver lining, it's just going to expedite this whole thing here, because the governor would lose and he'd appeal to the Supreme Court anyway of Pennsylvania.
Okay, so walk me through what you think the governor's whole point here is. He just wants to be dictator wolf. He wants to be able to rule with an iron fist and his magic wand and he wants to be able to declare a disaster emergency or whatever whenever he wants and have everybody kind of be at his beck and call.
And that's exactly it. I listened to his press conference today, and of course with the usual dithering responses there. He was asked, so what do you think about the decision by the Pennsylvania Supreme Court to take your case? I applaud it. And then they said, well, what justification do you have? Because the General Assembly voted against you. And there was a bit of confusion there, but finally the answer was, and he keeps calling us a democracy. And in a democracy, to survive in a crisis, you need to have extraordinary powers with the governor. But he wants them in perpetuity. He wants them without accountability and unending. So, and it's interesting, he contradicts himself. He says, well, General Assemblies can vote to end this, which we did.
Right.
So why doesn't he accept that? But so he wants us to endure, and he's creating this false narrative of a crisis that means he needs to run us into the ground forever.
Well, and I played some sound yesterday. Brock and I ran some sound of him not knowing exactly how this, impacted, how H.R. 836 impacted masks and what we had to do and what he had no idea. I'm like, wait a minute, you're the leader of this community. You're in charge of basically the safety and the well-being of 12.8 million people. Do you think you maybe want to know that?
And I was surprised as well. So last week, not only did we vote on 836 that ended this thing, so we should be walking and living as free people, not in bondage underneath these now expired powers that he has, unless the Supreme Court says otherwise. And then on top of this, he was asked about the constitutional amendment that we voted on and passed. And he was completely confused by it. He goes, well, it can't be a constitutional amendment because it has to go through 2 cycles, et cetera. And it is. And, of course, this will go through 2 cycles. And I'm like, how out of touch? He doesn't even know what we're doing in a General Assembly, but just reacting to anything that bothers him.
Right. That whole communication with the legislature is super duper effective, I'm thinking, for the governor, which he has failed to do. I want to spend my last 2.5 minutes, Senator Mastriano. I want to ask you about the leadership in what you're seeing here among conservative lawmakers in Pennsylvania. Where's the fire? Like, where's the fight? What's going on? Do we have like namby-pamby leadership or what?
We need to rise up and fight. We need to assert ourselves. Look, we're a co-equal branch of the government here, so let's act like it. When 836 passed, as we talked about before, that should have been a huge celebratory moment for the General Assembly. Instead, I see colleagues of myself here, my colleagues, sending out messages defending the governor, and he still retains these powers, and that nothing has changed. I'm like, so what was 836 all about? Why was it so controversial if it did nothing?
Right.
We voted, it ended within Article 1 and Article 35. It's done. So let's walk as free men and women in Pennsylvania, not be held in bondage anymore to the slavery.
Right. What's the benefit of being a wishy-washy Republican in a Democrat-controlled state? I mean, you're there to make changes and to fight for what you believe is right. And if you're conservative, the values are very basic. This isn't like earth-shattering, like, what? That's insane. Who are these people?
I know, and so Benjamin Franklin's comments about keeping a republic echoed to us today. Are we gonna politically fight for a republic and keep it for our children, or are we gonna give it up? At this point here, listening to the governor, he believes this new normal is going to be the new normal, where you have to, abide by his color codes and wear masks and and sing happy birthday when you wash your hands. It's utter nonsense. I reject his new normal. Obviously, he's never studied Pennsylvania history. We've been through far worse. This thing here has turned out to be a sham. It's 99% recovery rate, so why is he keeping us in bondage? And there's, sure enough, I'm going to predict it now, there's going to be a second quote-unquote outbreak this fall to keep these laws going on and to keep us in bondage to the election.
Right.
There's no doubt about it. The fear-mongering is palpable, and they need to stop. They need to let us live our lives. We're adults. We don't need a nanny state. We don't need a socialist government. We don't need an all-powerful, great Oz, a monarch of the Susquehanna telling us how to live our lives.
I'm going to leave you with one thought, Senator. Stay calm.
Yes.
Stay home. Stay safe.
Can you believe we have a governor telling 13 million people to do that? Come on. We're Americans. Get off my back. Get out of my wallet. Leave me alone. Let me live my life.
I love you. I'm on the Doug Mastriano Governor Tour. I'm your campaign manager. We love you. Thank you, Senator. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you. God bless.
Take care. I swear every time I have him on, my heart just goes a little bit bigger.